guys are adventuring in the lands of Toivoa. Specifically, you are down here south of Nomrat, past the little ruins of Belket, where you are currently escorting the Lady Zalfriora south and eastward, looking for a way to open a box that she has that supposedly has the method to raise a sky island once again. These have not been in the air since the time of the Great War. And so, with this information inside the box, you've rescued her, and last week engaged in the city, in the ruins, we'll call it, of Belket, where you discovered that the town had been cursed by an entity long ago, and the magical incantations that had been placed on the various buildings were causing the people to die in a variety of horrific and yet ingenious ways. After having left the village with new information for your wizards, who are both not here at the moment, what would you guys like to do as you are on the path southwards through the trees?
Well, I might save Jim Rowley's monologue when we have the full team. Jim Rowley just he's gonna kind of silently follow the team. He's not like making eye contact with anyone. He's kind of just watching the surroundings and slowly plodding behind the group.
Okay. What would Tomo be doing as he is no longer burdened with the dead body of a druid? We see you lighting up, but I cannot hear you.
Hello there. Sorry, I fixed.
Yep, I'm good now. Tomo is not oblivious to how Jim is feeling, but we'll give him his distance. I think that he's also gonna kind of be quiet and contemplative as we go along.
Merlot? What are you up to? Is Merlot here?
Looks like he's muted.
Yep. Merlot seems to be muted. Okay. Luminastra?
He's playing Hello as well.
There. I'm having.
Yep. You lost Luminastra?
We're batting 1,000 this morning.
All right. It seems like we're having a bit of a problem. Apparently, Merlot is not able to talk.
Sorry, I am here now.
I
had to go. Somebody was knocking on my door, and I had to go see who it was.
I'll also make fun of you and say it was a skill issue.
No. I had tossed in the chat that I'd be back, but it took longer than expected.
I missed it. So, what would Merlot be doing as Jimmerly is being melancholy, and so is Tomo?
I would just kind of be walking and enjoying looking at the nature. Not really sulking or anything, just kind of enjoying the walk.
Awesome. Luminastra, what would you be doing during this quiet time?
Luminas is still a little bit wary of the forest and everything else. She's a little bit pensive and apprehensive in a kind of apprehensive way. She's looking around the forest to see if she can see any of those humans that attacked us, and just kind of flying slowly, trying to stay close to the group.
Okay. As you were walking along, your compatriot there, Zalfrior, that you were escorting through the forest, asks a question of Luminostra. Lumi, I hope this isn't an intrusion, but why are you here? It's not often that we see fairies in the material plane.
I, I'm sorry. No, it is no intrusion. I well, you're quite right. We're not often in the material plane. However, I'm I'm a traveler and collector. I I haven't even been back into the Feywild for many decades. I spent most of my time traveling the astral sea, really, collecting curios, knowledge, and items, and I just happened to stumble into one of the portals that sent me here, and I'm now just continuing my search in this area,
What kind of things are
and
you
hopefully I
looking
can
to
get
collect?
back to the astral sea. Oh, I showed it the other day. You saw the music box with the astral song that I found in deep in a abandoned house in one of the floating isles of the astral sea,
So
and that
just
book
odd little
was there as
knickknacks?
well. Not only knickknacks. I do like to collect artifacts and any knowledge really. I'm not quite anything anything that flies my fancy really.
Interesting.
Does that make sense to you?
Somewhat. I understand the curiosity of finding new things.
No. Well, if well, not just new things, old things.
She smiles
I
and
this
nods.
I'm a collector. Yeah, yeah.
I understand the desire to
And
collect.
what about yourself? You have been around for such a long time. Um, we know little of you. What do you
You
do?
under Oh, um I am in a effort to reclaim that which once belonged to me. A bit of property in real estate. It's a long story and I'm not quite ready to share everything, but suffice it to say that there's a lot about where we're going that will be a little scary.
It's scary. It's scary how? Um, it's scary like when we found you bound. Oh, I don't want to remind you of the situation, but when we found you in that cave, or
Oh, I certainly
scary,
hope
or
not.
scary, yeah.
It would be unfortunate if I was captured once again. You were quite heroic in rescuing me. But more of the forces at hand in our future, I suspect, will be quite terrible. We will face many dangers,
Oh,
and it's
uh,
very brave of you and your friends to escort me forward. I'll be sure to reward you in kind. I understand that fairies tend to do things normally, with an ulterior motive. I'll have to find something for you to collect.
I mean, I feel that my motives are fairly plain and clear. I do like collecting things, knowledge, knowledge, artifacts, and general curiosities. I will show you some of the things I have collected over the years. Um, I do. I am looking forward to seeing this place of yours, Lostmore. I do wonder what sort of secrets and um, stories he holds. It
Lostmore is
has
not my
intrigued me in the same
place.
way as your. I meant more of a in a figurative sense. You're the one who set us our compass towards that place, so I meant it in that way.
Ah,
And obviously, I'm also very keen to learn about the contents of your puzzle box. As you
me
promised to
as
us,
well.
you will let us have a look at it, right?
Indeed.
Once it's
I
open.
promised I promised that Breezy would be able to read the contents. Now, as far as where we're going, Lostmore has a bit of a history. Lostmore, long ago, was a city that flourished and was quite populated. Now it is a secluded place. I'm not even certain if anyone still lives within the walls. I know where the entrance is after much research. It lies beneath the skull of an enormous dragon. Long dead, the
Oh,
dragon guards the cave entrance to Lostmore. My contact is to meet us there.
should we? So, and she stops to think, looks towards Tomo, and have we? Uh, have they got? Are you sure they're gonna have supplies and everything? Sounds less more of a city and more like ruins, and we just happen to. We're gonna meet up another expedition there, and I hope we have enough supplies to stay there long enough to acquire the knowledge that we seek.
I do not expect to stay long. However, plans could change. But the people who are there, I'm not certain of their supply situation. I simply know of where they are and how to get there. It's been quite some time since I received the information. I hope they are still there.
Yeah, I hope so. I wish there was a way for us to contact them. Unfortunately, those magics elude me still.
I would be very cautious using those exact words in the future, Luminostra. Wishes can get one in trouble in the wrong company. So be cautious in the future.
Sorry, could you say that again, Eric? It's really cracking up. I'm trying to sort out my setup again.
Okay. Wishes can be very problematic in the wrong company. I would encourage you to be careful.
Oh, indeed. I understand.
In the wrong
I often
company,
have to watch what
even
I say.
in the wrong company, a longing can lead to problems. It's important that we watch what we say and how we say it to who we say it. She looks over at Tomo
Indeed.
within eavesdropping range. I believe you understand. Do you not?
Understand what exactly?
Being cautious with one's words, especially in an environment that may not be as welcoming as others. After all, you find yourself wandering Shu. Where are you going, Tomo? Other than to escort me.
To be true, I don't quite know. I've been a leaf on the wind lately. But as I said, it feels that we are at the eye of a storm, and I'm just following the winds now.
She nods and thoughtfully. It is important to remain on the wind, lest one be crushed underfoot. I wish you the best, Tomo. Things change, and Shu is a hostile environment for both your kind and mine. Do you
I'm
know
pretty
what
sure
I've
it's
is...
possible
definitely,
for about everybody.
I'm sorry? What was that, Jimmerly?
I said I'm pretty sure a toss out for just about everybody.
To a degree, I
I've,
suppose.
I've definitely grown a distaste for these lands,
But
but they
they
are
are
home.
beautiful. They are home to you? What
As
aspect
far
of
as
the
I know,
Shu... What part of Shu do you originate from, Tomo?
it's just a small, small stretch of land to the northeast.
Interesting.
I don't think it has any names or labels.
Sure,
Just
you have a
a
home.
little farmhouse out in the woods. That's what I used to call home.
Interesting. What kind of things did you grow at your farm?
Mostly just bamboo and some food stocks to keep us afloat. It was just me and my master out there, so we like to keep it quiet.
What was your master's name again?
He kind of glances a couple times over his Alfiora. Well, I said it once before, but I was not being truthful. I mentioned
Oh?
Osaki Mika, and whenever he says that name, you can see his ears kind of twitch a little bit. The truth is, Osaki Mika is merely a something I made up to make my way through the lands. My master
A
was one.
fabrication?
Yes, my master was one Abe Aranaka, an elderly elf who kept to himself. He deceived the Shuan authorities by pretending to be senile and even blind at times, just to stay out of their clutches. And he hid me away on that farmhouse and taught me his ways.
Strange. A male hermit teaching a bugbear the ways of combat. I wonder why. Why would such a man risk everything to teach someone else when could compromise his safety?
Well, the ways that he taught me seem to be a forgotten art, a lost culture. I think he intended for me to shepherd it into the future.
Tell
And
me
he
more.
certainly did risk his life to do that.
Does he still live?
He does not. On one of the occasions that the Shuan authorities came out to visit him, I was hiding, and I started to hear raised voices and then clamoring, and a fight broke out. I tried to save him, but my skills were not up to the task.
So sorry.
I did dispatch the authorities that were there, but the farmhouse caught on fire in the scuffle, and the whole place was lost. He was lost, and only I remain.
Were you with him when he died?
I was.
That must have been very hard.
It is.
I'm sorry for your loss. Losing one you
Thank you.
love is losing one you love is a terrible thing. It wrenches at our hearts, and we lose a part of us. But if we can overcome that, we can grow and become more. It is important for us not to forget who those people are, but rather to embrace them and carry them with us in the future.
Yeah, in this land of extremism and zealotry, sometimes it's hard to remember. I think I forgot about him for a while there. I became too comfortable in the ways of this land, just trying to survive.
I will encourage you to not let the environment around you dictate who you are. Remain true to yourself in spite of the pressures around you.
That is something I've remembered in recent years. I'm walking the path again in his memory. Or
Glad
trying
hear
to,
it.
anyway.
Can you tell me more of this path?
It was something he called the Yokazi Way, the Night Wind Way. It's a way of living, a way of defending oneself, a way of finding oneself.
So, do you feel more comfortable under the stars than the sun?
Mostly. It's mostly as long as the wind is on my skin. That's when I feel comfortable. The night is a time for doing things that may not be acceptable in the light.
Remember, the only difference between night and day are the stars, and the fact that Anwa shines upon us instead of Usul. Darkness is a cloak to be used when appropriate. At other times, it is to be shunned in favor of bringing truth to bear.
Do you know of our way? The words you speak ring true to me.
She smiles at you, and I need you to roll an insight check, please, Tomo. As the first die roll of the session. With an 8. Unfortunately, you're unable to read her. She's got a good poker face, and she will give you a bit of a grin. Let us discuss this in the future.
Very well. Keep your secrets.
She chuckles. Some, not all. As a question, do you know what bothers our stout friend? And she gestures backwards towards Jim Rowley.
I believe that man has seen some of the worst of this land. And when there's not much room for justice, it's hard to be comfortable.
He seems to be a
He's-
warrior set on making things right.
A noble cause.
He's just
Noble,
watching the birds while
yes.
you guys are talking.
Okay. Noble, yes. I hope that he does not break himself against the stones around. Yet if he does, and she bends down and picks up a rock, and she shows it to you, Tomo. Should he break against the wall, sometimes there is beauty within. She turns it over, and on the other side of the rock, it has been cut by being smashed against another rock. There is a beautiful patina on this rock. It's an agate. It's orange with paler orange rings within it. While not valuable, it is a pretty rock.
I think there's good in all of this group, and I think that we'll need each other in the days ahead.
She smiles. Indeed. I just hope that he does not shatter, but rather reveals who he is within without breaking. She will keep
Hopefully, the only shattering he does is upon the bones of our enemies.
She chuckles. Indeed. She's going to slow down for a moment and stop. She looks to Jimrily as he comes walking up. Jimrily?
Tomo will keep walking ahead.
Okay.
He stops and looks up at her.
It's nice to have you here.
Well, he kind of pauses for a moment. He's not entirely sure how to answer this. He goes. He opens his mouth and stops. Opens his mouth and stops. And he opens his mouth again, and he kind of pauses still. He's like, I wish it felt nicer to be here.
I understand. This world is hostile, and it needs changing.
He goes, that's far further thinking than I'm even going. I'm
Where are you
talking.
going?
He points to the ground. I'm talking right where we're at. The people around us. You know,
The companions?
how is this? We've been walking. We've only been gone for a couple of days, and it feels like everyone has forgotten what happens in Shu, and they're acting exactly like everyone else. It's we don't like all of these aspects, but yet we're going to be the first people to do it. Killing, lying about it, hiding our motive, just basically doing whatever we want with and trying to backtrack out of the repercussions. That's exactly what happens with the corrupt power we've been living with, and the people here are so quick to use it on their own as if they've totally forgotten everything they've seen around them.
I understand. How would you proceed, Jimmerly?
In
Would you
what
be
way?
honest?
Well, first off, I would have just hit that druid in the back of the head with my hammer and put him to sleep. We let the women live. Why not let him live? Joseph's eye women are far far worse than an angry druid.
He
And then I
nods.
just have thrown him over my shoulders and carried. Well, I would have thrown him over Tomo's shoulders and carried him into town.
I understand. Sometimes the heat of the moment, we make mistakes. I've made more than a few myself.
As if
Most.
I
Go ahead.
said 57, 57 nights in jail individually.
57 times you've been incarcerated?
Yes.
Tell me about them.
Oh, it's just from my job as the lawyer of Namrat, for men and beings that they deemed lesser. They were guilty regardless of anything I said, did, or prove. So I ended up getting upset about it. I get held in contempt and thrown in jail.
And this happens often.
Yes, it does.
How long have you been practicing law, Jimmerly?
Well, it's been a few years. Let's see. He pulls up his fingers. Well, about 20 years ago, I was sold to some government people in Asatoro. They were giggling over who would be stuck with me after their trade. And afterwards, people of Asatoro didn't really know what to do with me. And so eventually I ended up in Namrat because they were sending supplies, and they're like, well, let's send the dwarf. And that's probably the one thing that's kept me alive is the fact that I'm technically government owned.
Interesting. Who is your agent in Asatoro?
He pulls up the collar, and it has some markings on it that he cannot read. I'm not entirely certain, but they threw this collar on me, and that seems to be enough for the people around here.
May I? And she goes to look closer at the collar.
Yeah, the letter.
She's going to lean in and examine it, and she's going to reach out to touch it. Will you allow her to touch the collar?
Yeah.
She looks at it. This is very, very concerning. And this was placed upon you by the government in Asatoro, by the ladies in charge?
That's what it was. That's what was said around me.
She nods. You face a massive uphill challenge, Jimmerly. If I can help, please let me know.
I will. Chances are I'll die before I hit this hill, but at least I'll do it on my terms.
Indeed. What do you know of the woman named Sada Eiko?
Me?
Indeed.
I don't think I've even heard that name.
Her name is the one on your collar.
Yeah, they didn't know. I was strapped in the back of a wagon, so I just heard bits and pieces of it.
I would investigate this woman if I were you, Jimmerly. It might find a bit of resolution to that which bothers you.
Or I'll end up with me in jail. Or dead.
She's the one who has placed this collar upon you. Though perhaps not personally, she's the one responsible for you in this land.
I'm
As far
surprised she
as...
doesn't want.
Go ahead.
After all those jail stints, I'm surprised she's not the one who wants me dead.
She might. And she smiles wryly at you. If I was in her stead, I would consider what you do almost an embarrassment.
That's what I mean.
So, keep it up.
I guess maybe she'll come to me that way. Kind of chuckles.
Perhaps so. At least you
Because out of
have...
this collar's magical, or she'll choke me to death with it. One or the other.
That would be most unfortunate. May I examine it one more time?
Yeah, go ahead.
And she's going to cast Detect Magic. She looks at the collar and sticks her finger between your neck and the collar itself. As she does so, she looks at you kindly. The collar is not magical, generally. I believe you are safe.
Oh. From the collar.
From the collar, at least.
He kind of chuckles a little bit. Huh, well, guess they'll have to take care of me personally.
Perhaps so. I do have a little bit of good news.
There's good news here. I guess we're not dead yet.
True. But you know that in spite of how they act, the people we travel with are willing to kill to defend the people in the party. While we may not approve of such actions, they care. They probably have your back, generally, more than you realize. They're willing to compromise their own morality in order to further the betterment of the group.
See, that's where I don't know if it's 100% certain. Do we know that they're compromising their own mortality? Or is that actually their own morality?
Do you believe that they have ulterior motives?
No, but I'm saying some people are far more willing to kill than others, and people see it in different ways. Not everyone sees killing someone, even in self-defense, to be anything. When you live
How do
in,
you
I
feel
lived
about
in Shu. I've seen men killed for not eating correctly at the dinner table.
when is the right time to kill?
He kind of pauses for a moment. He's like, I've killed myself. In my opinion, the right time to kill is, I guess, when you feel you don't have a choice. I guess that's different for everyone else. To me, a lot of times we have a lot more choices than we take credit for. Like before with the druid, I
Do
knew
you
it
believe
could have
that
gone, hey,
Luminostra had a choice?
we all have a choice. Luminostra could have said, hey, someone hit that guy in the back of the head. Now, in her own mind, she might not have realized that choice because, there's always emotion, the heat of the moment, and everything else. And I get things like that. I really don't like the fact that while that happened, we walked into a druid's home after essentially provoking them and then lied about the whole ordeal to get through. It does not sit right with me at all because that's how I've been. Everyone does that around me, and to be frank, I thought we were better than that.
So you wish to hold people to truth. It's not the fact that necessarily someone died, but rather that
It's
the
it's a
party lied about it.
it's
The
a
people.
standard.
Ah,
Yeah, I will say I hold them to a higher standard. If I wanted to be around people who were just doing whatever they want all the time, I could have stayed in Namrat. That's how people live there. And if I'm leaving Namrat, if I'm leaving Shu, I want to feel like I've actually left Shu. No,
I understand.
now that's gonna be different for everyone, of course. But you know, I didn't bring this up to anyone. I didn't try to stop the plan because people do have different values than I do, and I understand that. That doesn't mean I have to like that.
What do you think of me, Jimmerly? You know that
To be
I've been
honest,
completely forthright. I've not
you have
lied to
not,
you.
but you also haven't belittled me. You've actually protected me in combat. So,
She smiles. I'm not certain of that.
the some of the spells have definitely helped, but the it's the same way I look at Luminostra. I will say I have a sliding chart. One, you're really tall. That scares me. But two, you've been really nice to me. So you can see how these things balance each other out. And so I'm I guess the term is I'm cautiously optimistic.
I understand. She hands you a rock, Jimmerly.
How big is it to generally comparatively to them? I guess generally has
Oh,
pretty normal sized hands. Like if you look at
Yeah.
like a standard humanoid, he has like normal. He's just Merlot, but 3 feet tall. Like if you
Understood.
squatted Merlot down, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
She hands you a rock. It's about the size of a golf ball, but it has been cut in half due to a natural strike. The outside of it is gray and pitted, but the inside of it, where it's been cut, the stone is smooth and has concentric orange rings. She looks at you. Sometimes what we see on the outside doesn't reflect what's on the inside. You're kind of that same way, Jimmerly. I see that there's beauty on the inside, despite the gruff exterior. If we look at all the rocks on this path, many of them are the same way. Some of them, however, are rough and coarse throughout. It's finding the special ones that is the key. Sometimes they don't reveal themselves until much later. If we look at these other people that we travel with, I believe these are gemstones in the rough. Give them a chance. You might just be surprised to find what's within.
She really nods and goes, I was not intending on leaving, but I am hoping that they see my point of view a little bit. And perhaps, explain to me a little bit more of theirs. Because, well, I've found a lot of positives to all of this. I don't want to be reminded of being in Shu every single day as we go through and have to think about how even trying to change my life, it stayed the same.
You find yourself in and among the world, but do not wish to reflect it. Is that correct?
I'm not Shu anyway, but I guess that's also all I know. I would
If
assume
it's
things are different elsewhere, but from everything I've heard, I guess that could be wrong too.
Generally, evil exists everywhere. Nowhere in all of Toivoa is there a paradise. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. The Endless Pinnacle is lost. And without it, evil will exist. Long ago, Emery Rosie held good in sway across all the lands. Now that's lost. We hope
Yeah,
that
I hear he's
someday
kind of a
it'll
dick
be
these days.
restored. I'm sorry, repeat that?
I hear he's kind of a dick these days.
Really? I hadn't
That was
heard
out of
that he had
character.
returned.
It's out of count. It's out of count.
I had to make a Monday night joke, and Doug.
He's
I'm
not going to
sorry.
watch this.
No, but I still had to do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
still have to do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he said the gods are out there too, and they're not. Like, maybe they're busy battling amongst each other or whatnot to help the people on here. So all that tells me is it's up to me to make things I should say improve things on my own.
Do you believe
Or I guess
the gods
with the
help
group of
those who
others.
help themselves?
Well, because we're gonna find out.
I relish the opportunity to find out together.
Let me tell you, they sure don't help when you're trapped in a cave.
You were trapped in a cave?
Well, I don't know if trap's the best word. Okay. But I did live in a cave that I could not leave for a very long time.
Why?
But because before I was owned in Shu, I was owned by some giants.
You were owned by giants?
Well, I mean, I guess you want to put it that way. They, from what I remember as a child, I was told they raided a dwarven settlement in the mountains near Corlin, where they were from, and decided to keep me as a child's play toy.
I'm so sorry. That must have been very
Uh,
traumatic.
I blame it for why I'm so short.
Do you blame the giants for your height?
Well, you know, giant children are their own kind of creature. I was definitely pounded on a lot and squished, and you know,
Mistreated.
you can only take so many blows to the head and be squished against the wall so often when you're pretty sure that's what compacted you.
You were compacted by giant children. I'm so sorry, Jim
Yeah.
Romy. But
Well, I mean,
you must understand that is both horrific and, as a statement, difficult not to laugh at.
it's no. Sometimes I wish I'd gone back to that over all the time I spent in Shu, to be honest with you.
Well, do you know where the giants were? Were they here in Shu or were they abroad?
I think they're across the mountains in Corlin.
Oh, goodness.
That's what I heard anyway. They talked about the occasional, mountain raid into Shu and things like that, and try not to get caught. I don't know why they care about not getting caught or not. Besides, maybe does Shu even have an army? I don't know, but getting hunted down, or maybe something diplomatic. I'm not entirely sure, but I was told I was taking in a raid.
That's horrible.
They fed me better. They fed me better than people in Shu did, though.
Really?
Yeah, they had a lot of meat. They went hunting a lot, and despite being beaten and battered a lot, it wasn't nearly as bad. I wasn't belittled. I was more kept like a kitten. A quite sturdy kitten.
Sturdy for sure. Being able to withstand the play activities of giants near the border of Corlin, I can't even imagine. I've avoided the border as much as I can. The rumors of Corlin being brutal and barbaric have kept me away as best possible. I'm sorry for your experience.
One day I'll go back and, I'll find what was left of my home and maybe have some words with those giants.
He
They didn't kill
smiles.
me, and they didn't let me get killed. So I more just want to, he pauses for a minute, encourage them to do better.
Do you remember their names?
He stops for a moment. And he closes his eyes and rubs his temples. He's like, "Ooh, it's been some time." The children or
Any of them? Do you remember any of their names?
yes, there was a Jibos. That was the little son, and the daughter was named Freem.
Can I get you to please, Jibos and Freem? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
They weren't malicious, mind you. They were. I guess when you're a child, you do what you believe. But
As a question,
hmm,
do you believe that people grow out of that and do things that they don't believe in? Or do people, such as the party up ahead, are they simply doing what they believe in?
I'd have to ask them. I don't really necessarily know what most of them believe in. That's where I struggle on the morality aspect of this. Because what entirely do they believe in? I've known people for a week. It's hard to understand the depth of their code, their feelings, how they interact with things. Which is again part of the reason why I didn't really bring any of this up, because I'm trying to understand it. Is this them, or is this the heat of the moment, and perhaps they just didn't know better?
Perhaps. I will say this, generally. As I've traveled the world, I've found that it is exceedingly easy to be jaded by individual circumstances. It's difficult to forgive. It's difficult to see the world through others' eyes. I would like to encourage you to continue trying to find the best in the world. You've got a good heart, but the world has tumbled you like rocks in a river. That wasn't
Well,
meant to be disparaging to your roundness, but rather know that you are probably further along being polished than some of the rest of us.
Sometimes what you go through in life leads you here. And I'm not jaded with anything yet. People are of course allowed to make their own choices, and I'm not gonna to well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to He stops and keeps trying to he wants to keep using one word and then he stops. I'm not going to belittle them for that. Um but our paths may have to cross at a different time, or things may have to change in general. We're gonna have to. There's a lot to be seen here, and there's a lot of growing to do in general.
Indeed. I hope that we can grow together, Jimmerly.
I'm not planning on going anywhere yet, at the very least.
I'm glad to hear it. It's good to have a warrior of your caliber escorting me.
It's because I can see the things you might trip on when you're walking.
Not only that, she smiles, but more of your earnestness and your strength of character.
That's the first time I've ever heard that. Usually it's dumb dwarf, quit being so stubborn, you're going back in the cell. So, I guess I'll take this.
She will continue in silence for a little while. Meanwhile, the camera pans over to where Luminostra and Tomo are chatting up ahead. Lumi asks Tomo, is it just Tomo, or are there more to just Tomo? Tomo states, it's Chilsana Tomodachi. My master told me it means little friend. Luminostra responded, now that is interesting. Is that in the local tongue? And Tomo nods.
Indeed. Lumi is just like, ah. And is it uh, is it in Shuyan? What do they call this language? I've seen this script everywhere, but I don't seem to understand it yet.
It's Shuin, yes.
Oh, okay. And your your master gave you this name. Was he a bugbear also? Is he from your
No,
tribe?
no, he was an elderly elf.
Huh? An elf? Now that's interesting. How did that came up? Came up. How did it happen?
He told me he found me in the woods.
In Shu.
Indeed.
Oh,
Just
I
a little
am
ways from his farmhouse.
okay. I understand. Well, I'm so you haven't really spent much time with your kin. You were brought up by an elf. That is indeed a unique situation. Well, we have made you into a very calm and focused bugbear, I would say. Not sure whether. Yeah, there's always good in anything that you can always get. Um, seems that your master uh, helped you get some good out of your problems. Like being found in a forest by yourself alone as a young child. Do you feel that
Abe
has a?
and shaped my life for sure. And I
Hmm.
knew next to nothing about my kin, just what the Shu and people know of bugbears, really, which is not good, as I understand.
Well, you. I was surprised not to find any of them in that goblin den. That often goblins and bugbears they tend to be together. Um, I have mentioned that to you before. I know little about your your kin. However, the little that I do know is that they have a very ancient Fey ancestry. They may be from the goblin kin. However, there's some of the Fey in them.
Are you saying we're related, Lumi?
Oh, she giggles. Well, you are called little friend, and I am little. At least in that way, we are related. I don't know, Tomo. I don't think we are related. Well, we certainly know they're related by blood, but there's certainly I wouldn't be. Oh, I have seen your kind before in the Feywild, or at least heard of them. They're not very populous there. Some do exist, and I know that they're often. They seem. Hmm, they have. They do find their use there, and they have found their niche. I would say. I don't know much more about it. I know that there are some of your kin there. That is all.
Yeah, Tomo just kind of stays silent and looks contemplative. He's thinking about what he would even do if he ever met a bugbear he doesn't know.
Hmm. Have you met any of your kind before?
Tomo just shakes his head.
Oh, that would be an interesting encounter, I would say. I would encourage you to, and she thinks and stops, almost like trying to figure out what the right word to say, to take the encounter with one foot back. Just be careful.
I appreciate the caution, Lumi. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Hmm, indeed. And the flowers do suit you well.
Tomo nods at you.
She smiles and continues moving forward.
Zalfriora will then come up to Merlot. Merlot, I have a question for you.
What's that?
What's your signature drink?
You know, I'm trying to figure that out. I've got a cocktail book here in my backpack, and whenever we take a rest, I kind of just like to mess around and figure some other stuff out.
Interesting. Do you have a theme that you're going for, or do you have a base?
Um, I love just kind of having a glass of wine at the end of whether it's some combat or an adventure to sit back and relax. But I think when I'm working, people tend to like cocktails more, and we get quite a lot of requests for either sweet or like fruity drinks. I know that Lumi was earlier at the bar asking for one that didn't have alcohol, but personally, I like something with a bit more of a punch.
Hmm. But for yourself, red wine, I assume?
Yes,
Are you dry or sweet?
dry, big bodied.
Hmm. I'll have to remember that. You're very
And-
quiet.
Yeah,
Is-
I kind of just like to enjoy taking in the scene while we're walking around. I think that it's relaxing. We've had an eventful last couple days, and I'm enjoying the new scenery.
I understand. Do you have a big family at home?
I do. It's kind of full of adventures. I don't know how often you get around, but one of my other cousins, Tati, is really known for adventuring too, and kind of seeing her go off helped inspire me to just want to leave home and find my own way.
That's admirable. She must be quite amazing if she inspires others to go out into the world and brave the unknown.
Yeah, I think a lot of our family just kind of stays home and worships Imkale and kind of enjoys being around family, and seeing somebody go off and be able to make it on their own. I said, why couldn't I? And so I'm just kind of out here enjoying and finding my calling. I don't entirely know what it is yet, but I'm enjoying it for now.
Understand. How many generations has it been since your family left um, Shintara Grove? I know that might be a hard topic to ask.
Believe I could be wrong, but I think that it was either my grandma or great grandma. I'm trying to remember. Um, it's been a long time, and it's not something we often talk about at home.
I understand. It must be very traumatic, especially for them.
Yeah, we're doing well here though now. It's my so it's one of my like great grandmas. It's been a couple hundred years, but we just would refer to her as Mama Bruno.
I would love to talk to her at some point. Sure, she's got amazing stories.
Yeah, but everyone in the family does. It's been quite a while since I've seen any of them due to my travels, but they're all pretty great.
Well, now you're out in the world. I'm sure you have your own stories.
Yeah, and looking to keep making more. And what about you? Where where are you from?
She smiles. A bit of everywhere. I've done a decent amount of traveling. But enough about me. Tell me one of your stories.
Well, I don't have too many that are that interesting because a lot of them have just been going and exploring. And this last few days is one of my first experiences at combat that I could actually like remember. The only other time that I had gotten into something this serious was on a ship that was going through the seas, and we caught a bit of a storm and it wrecked, but I don't remember how we made it through. I haven't really met any of my crew since then. I just remember waking back up at
You
home
remember the
where
name of the ship?
I don't. I, a lot of the times that when I was first starting out adventuring, I would just save up my money and try and hop on any ship that was coming in and out of report. Just I'd take a job working in the mess hall or anything I could to get out and go for little adventures.
Ship out of Rydeport that wrecked. There aren't that many. They make the ships very strong out of Rydeport. Were you on a yacht or a cargo vessel? Do you
It
remember?
was a cargo vessel.
Hmm. Interesting. I heard of
Yeah,
one that came out of there. Do you know where the wreck happened?
it it was a bit at sea, so to my knowledge, but as soon as we kind of got trapped in the storm, I don't entirely remember what happened. I just remember waking back up. on land and assumed that, I don't know, maybe I just either dreamt it up or got knocked out and don't recall what happened.
I've heard this story from someone else. The captain of the ship in question, they were able to recall the captain's name was Ermenos. Does that ring a bell?
I think so. It sounds very familiar,
You
but
might look up that name and see if you can find out more about it. They might be able to answer some questions.
thanks. Will do.
I know that they had a ship out of Ryport, and I know that they were lost at sea. The rumor is that the pilot of the ship caused the wreck in the middle of the ocean. Supposedly hit a sandbar or something out there, losing all the cargo aboard. I met Hermanos once at a bar in Kesu. Quite the smooth talker, if I'm honest. But not my type. A little bit too rotund and portly, if you get my meaning.
Yeah, I can see
Plus
that.
his beard. And he was massively fond of garlic.
Ooh.
Yeah, not my thing.
Yeah. Well, if you ever happen to go through Kesu, he was there less than a year ago.
I'll keep an eye out for him if we do. Would he
Absolutely.
recognize your name if I do come across him?
I'm uncertain. He and I did spend some time together as I was fond of his stories and wanting to get a little bit more information. Hermenos is quite connected across the seas. He knows many people.
All right. Thanks.
Indeed. What do you know about Deuce?
Not a whole lot. We met him just before we met up with you, actually, on the way that we were headed to where we eventually ran into you. I know that he's spending his time kind of researching time magic and has been for a while, if I'm not incorrect, but I'd love to get to know him and kind of everybody else a bit more. It's been a crazy couple of days, and I feel like all we've done is fight together, and it's drawn us close, but I don't entirely know a lot about everyone before we met up.
Understand. I'm trying to learn more about the people who I'm taking to Lostmore. I want to make sure that I can trust each of you before I take you to a place of secrecy.
I understand. Do you maybe want to go ask him a bit about himself?
Perhaps. He seems deep in thought, though. Do you know what he's reading?
I know that he has a book of his own kind of research, and he tends to kind of just keep to himself about what that is. Same with Breezy, that they're both very into spells, and that's, I might know a few, but not really my area of expertise. Yeah, it's hard for me to understand.
Perhaps we could ask more questions of them when we go to camp tonight.
That sounds good.
She's going to step away from you and leave you to admire nature. She drifts her stride over near Deuce. Excuse me.
Yes. Diaz will look up. He's in his notebook. like most times. He'll look up his notebook, closing it as he realizes there's someone there. Yes, how can I help you?
I'm sorry for the intrusion into your thoughts. Merlot stated that you were interested in chronomancy.
Ah,
Will that
yes,
be the case?
it is true. I have spent a great many years of my life studying the great inner flowings of time itself, and I find it to be fascinating.
You have? That's interesting. Most chronomancers that I have heard of have a tendency to mix up their tenses. Do you find that to be an issue?
Ah, it can be tricky for us as we are constantly working in the present, looking into the past, and trying to foresee the future. It can be a bit of a challenge to remember where we are,
Or when?
or when, indeed.
What brought you to Dews? They stated that they found you on a mountain pass?
Yes, I am doing research across all of Toivoa, and I just so happened to find myself in Shu, doing field research to help me better understand some of the more difficult projects that I'm working on.
Projects? What types of projects?
Nothing too crazy. At this point, you can kind of notice Dave's eyes are kind of like getting shifty. Like this is a topic he doesn't exactly want to talk about, but at the same time, he doesn't want to be disrespectful to Zal. It's just field research for my colleagues. Um, just working on minor fluctuations in the time flow within nature and how it could affect the realities around us.
Interesting. That's some pretty high-end magics. Where do you
It
study?
is. I don't particularly have one academy that I report to. I tend to do my research and share them amongst the many different mage schools around Toivoa. Knowledge should not be kept to oneself.
So you do a fair amount of traveling. Are you on the faculty?
I am known amongst the members of the faculty of many of the mage academies.
Interesting. So you would know of the modern magic movement.
Yes, I have heard of their, I suppose we should call them movements in these recent years.
How do you feel about that?
While there is a small part of me that could understand why they would want to keep magic to those who are truly proficient, I believe that it is a stain on the image of what magic truly stands for and how anyone can learn and study to become one with the arcane.
You believe that someone could actually become part of the weave?
Of course, with the many years of research I myself have conducted, it is not without it's not without reason that one could commit themselves to the inner mechanisms of magic and become with the weave.
Do you believe that someone who may have already done so?
It would not surprise me if it has been done already.
would such an entity be all powerful?
It is very possible. An individual with access to the weave, one who can possess and control that much arcane power. It would be safe to say they could be on a level rivaling a god.
If they were so powerful, why would they not exert such power to either further the good or the ill in Toivoa, but rather remain passive as we expect at the moment?
I could only imagine that perhaps they are waiting for their moment to properly introduce themselves, I suppose. Now, of course, there is the corruption of men, those who seek power over all others. Perhaps this one person has come to the realization that corruption is not the true workings of a god.
You believe that power corrupts?
Almost certainly. Even the strongest powers can corrupt some of the most pure individuals.
And supreme power over the weave, even becoming one with it, would that not lead to corruption?
It is possible. Although it is very realistic that this individual who has gained access to the weave has dedicated their life to achieving it, but now that they have climbed the mountain, they know not what to do with the view.
So they rest, is what you state, and they simply wait?
Perhaps wait for the clouds to part and the sun to shine down on what they should truly focus on with all this power.
Interesting. I fear such an entity.
I believe that is reasonable and a fair assumption.
I fear that they might exist. For one who is connected to the weave in such a manner, be a terrible thing. I would not want that. The responsibility, the consequences for any action that I took. That weight would be too much for my heart to bear.
At this point, Deus will kind of like break a sweat a little bit because he's realizing that just the insurmountable like weight of this conversation. Yes, it would truly be as if you are Atlas carrying the world on your shoulders.
I would be afraid to act in any way. I would be frozen by the decision of inaction or action. I wouldn't want that existence. Would you?
I wouldn't wish that much responsibility, that much consequence, that much insurmountable pressure on anyone that I know.
So, to lighten the subject, what is your favorite snack?
Ah, once Zal brings it up, you'll see like the kind of like fog lift from his eyes, almost as if a switch has been flipped. Ah, when I was much younger, I would not consider this a snack, but I remember after long days of working, both on my studies and around the house, my mother would cook us the most delicious beef roast with potatoes and onions and carrots. It is truly a favorite meal of mine.
That sounds delicious. Should I ever visit your home, I'd love to have an opportunity to taste it. Where do you
Oh, I
come
would-
from?
At this point, Deus' eyes kind of shift again. I'm far from Shao. It's a long ways home, but I believe I could recall the recipe and share it with you.
I'd love that. Should we come across some beef?
It would be an honor to prepare it for you and for the rest of us.
Sadly, I don't expect to see any more of the aurochs in this area.
Indeed. Perhaps another time, then. Later down the road. We might meet again. I'll be sure to have beef with me.
Are you seeking to leave?
No, but should we not come across it and our searches here, perhaps one day long down the road, I would like to have you over for dinner.
Very well. What do you think of Jimmerly?
He is a man of great self-respect. He has a code of morals, and I respect him for keeping himself to it. He knows who he is and what he stands for. He is truly, albeit a bit bizarre at times, but he is a good man.
Interesting. It's high praise to say that someone knows who they are. Sometimes
It is a
I
rare
actually find
find
out
these
who I am.
days.
How do you feel of the rest of our companions?
Well, to begin, I do owe my life to them. Had they not found me on the side of the road after being attacked, we would not be having this conversation, to put it nicely. And because of that, I have a sense of respect for them. They all recognize each other's strengths, and we all come together when it does truly matter most. We may not all have agreeing opinions on how certain people act or how groups behave in this world, but when there is danger and the possibility of one of us being lost arises, I'm glad to say we can all come together to prevent it.
I hope that remains true.
As do I.
You'll excuse me. I need to, see what's coming up ahead. Do you see that? And she looks forward.
I'll pay it forward with her to wherever she's looking at.
There is a woman standing in the middle of the road, with her hands behind her back and her feet spread wide. She's wearing a long kimono that comes down past her knees. At her hip, she has a long katana.
Mm.
Do you guys wish to approach? As
Looks
all of you
odd
can
to
see
find out.
this, it's very obvious.
Lumi flies behind Tomo.
I will stand. I'll close my notebook, put it back in my bag, and then stand up. Kind of just like at the ready. Not really brandishing any weapons or visibly holding a spell or anything. Just at the ready.
Okay. So,
What color is
go
the
ahead.
kimono, by the way?
It is pale blue.
Hmm.
The color of the sky. you'll find yourselves near the top center of this battle map,
Did
and the
did we
woman
have a
further south.
did we have a did we have a short rest while we were walking
Yes,
or not?
you can have
We
a short
did.
rest. Yeah, you guys would have taken a
Thank you.
break for a snack at some point.
I have 0 spell slots left from the last battle. We never long rested after that.
Not yet. But you guys have been walking for a good couple of hours. It's approaching nightfall, but not quite there. The sun hasn't set. It's just at that almost dusk. Standing in the middle of the road is a woman with a high ponytail. Her ponytail is then braided into small looping braids. There's a cord wrap around her hair that keeps all the hair out of her face. She looks stern and patient at the same time. She appears to be waiting for something.
Seems bizarre. I'm gonna guess Lumi or Breeze. You should probably be the ones to talk to her to begin with. I don't think she's gonna take kindly since we're still in shoe to any of the rest of us.
Um, I, I suppose I could go and speak to her. And she kind of moves forward a little bit. It's a woman just kind of looking straight at us, like waiting for us to
Yeah,
approach.
she's waiting for
Okay.
you guys to approach. She
Okay.
is not taking any aggressive action. She has her hands behind her back. Her sword is easily visible.
Oh, okay.
And she seems right out in the open.
Yeah. Lumi is
Someone kind of furrows his brow and just says, "I'll be right behind you, Lumi."
okay. She
She
goes
means using
forward.
his maul as like a walking stick. He's using the head of the hammer as like the handle.
Okay. As you guys
Lumi,
approach,
yeah, she
he's-
stops around here.
she raises an eyebrow.
Lumi, having seen what the other people around Nomra did, she'll bow towards. She kind of gives a short bow to the woman, saying, "Good afternoon. Um, may we? How is everything okay?"
No,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear things are not quite right for you. I do hope they get
everything's right
better.
for me.
Well, mine is not. What do you
You'll
mean?
pardon the rudeness, but my business is not with you, Fairy.
Oh, oh, that is all right then. We will pass and without causing any trouble. Thank you.
You may pass. The child of Abe Aranaka may not.
Uh, what? Who? And she looks back to see kind of what we don't have any child. Um, they're all adults. I'm sure you
Roll
were
a
a little
history
bit
check,
confused.
please. Please roll a history check, Luminastra.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, one.
You have no idea
Someone's
who
just
this
gonna
person
say,
is.
yeah, he's
No,
just
I
gonna
have no
say,
idea.
it's okay, Lumi, and he'll step forward.
Uh, Tomo, you okay?
He just ignores Lumi and stares at the woman. "Well, I'm here. What's your business with me?"
You and I are destined to clash swords. Chisana Tomodachi, you were the last student of the master.
"This is true."
Then we are
I
destined to
don't
fight.
I don't think he ever mentioned you.
I'm sure he didn't. The old man regretted teaching me. He resented the fact that I bucked his teachings and went into the world.
Well, what is this destiny you speak of?
We are to test each other, to find who is worthy. I seek to justify my possession of the blade, and she is holding a sword. It looks very nice. It's
That's
on
a
her
fine
belt.
blade.
It's not in her hands, but it's at her in the scabbard.
Do I recognize it in any way, or
No, you've never seen it. There's no way you possibly
Sure.
could know what that sword is. And I don't say that normally, but in this case, it's impossible.
Sure.
Abe would have never talked about it, and there would be no records of it in his house, etc.
Yeah. Well, me and my companions here are just trying to make our way through the area. I don't know if I have time to meet your request.
You have time. The 100 archers hidden in the woods will ensure that you have time. Your friends may pass, but you may not until we have clashed blades.
It's just like
I want to roll insight on the whole 100 archers thing,
Okay.
because that seems a little 100 archers in shoe like that. It's a little preposterous to Jim Rowley.
Okay.
He might have like 10, but 100.
Okay. With a
There goes
23, she
there's my
seems to
crit mallet
be
strike.
in earnest. Roll a
Oh.
perception check.
Can I also roll a perception check as I look
Absolutely.
to the
All
sides of the
you,
road?
Absolutely, you guys can roll perception
Oh.
checks.
Apparently, the
Awesome.
dice like me for
Nice.
not
Jim.
combat.
Yeah. So, 100 archers.
Lumia.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Holy.
There are 100 archers. Lumia, she flies forward just like a little bit worried. It's like, what is happening? You two are going to fight?
This does not
You see Jim Rowley
concern you,
pointing at
Fairy.
each one individually.
Oh,
Like,
you Sorry, go on, Dimron.
I was like, I'm pointing at each one individually, like, huh. You see Jim Rowley just turning around, pointing into the forest, and pointing into the forest. Well, I go look over at Tomo and like, well, it seems like she's at least a person of her word.
Lumi is a little bit angry now. She's like, concern. It does concern me. Tomo here is a member of our party. We were not going to leave him behind. Can you please explain what is happening here so that we can understand? You have such strange customs in this land. I don't choose to cause any issues or anything else. I don't know what Tomo has done or what you want from him, but I'd like to explain before we allow him or anybody else to stay here or pass.
I mean, to be fair, we do know what she wants. She did state that.
Roll a persuasion or intimidation check, your choice.
Oh God, she's a bit angry, so she's gonna intimidate this woman.
Very well. With an 18. Ooh, let's see here. Let's see what she gets here. She got a 20. She will not be intimidated by you.
Which is fine.
She holds a steady gaze at you. Your party member, Chisana, is a rival of mine. He and I are destined to clash blades in personal combat to determine who is the greater student of Abe.
And this blade clashing ends how?
Through success.
And what does success means to you? Or even to Tomo, in that matter. What does success means to you, Tomo?
She raises an eyebrow and waits for Tomo's response.
Tomo just kind of like looks down at his katana and puts his hand on the scabbard. Kind of, unlatches the sword from the scabbard and says, "What about to first blood?"
First blood.
Oh, so
That is
so
all.
this
Well, I certainly don't know you. I don't mean you any harm. But if we're meant to have a test, why not it be to the first blood?
Very well. If that is the limited extent that our master taught you, was simply to the first blood, then I already know that you are weak. You are not worthy of the blade.
Lumi turns to you, Tomo. Do you have to fight this woman?
He does not. He can show his weakness and continue on the path through this world, knowing he is inferior.
Inferior. Lumi looks at you and she's like,
It really makes a face at that word.
she looks at you, Tomo, and she's like, Tomo, trash this woman. Clear the road for us. And she'll fly back.
Tomo just looks down and grins, and he's going to draw his blade and leap at this woman.
All right. As you do so, I'm going to ask you to please roll for initiative. Just you.
Traditional dojo challenge. So great.
All right. So,
1 second, just having trouble with my sheet.
sure.
Well, it is not letting me roll initiative for some reason, so... Oh, do I need to fix to be on 20 or something, maybe?
You may need to uninstall it and reinstall it, but go ahead and roll a d20 and let's just add your modifier.
I can roll the d20 for you if you want.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, I don't have inspiration anymore. Shit!
I will give you my inspiration. This is cool.
Yeah, I have inspiration. As well.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Tomo mine.
All right.
Okay, we both rolled 16.
All right.
My
Your
dex is
dexterity
18.
is a 20.
Of course it is!
So, cool. As you both have the same initiative, we're going to roll a contested strike. As you leap forward, she draws her sword and also leaps forward, and we will both move to adjacent squares. Her blade comes out of the scabbard and shines with a black luster. Need you to roll an attack roll.
Okay,
Need you to beat a 20. As these are contested attack rolls. She will cut you for 10 damage. She smiles. Should we have done this by your rules, you would have already lost. She just cuts you on the forearm. She smiles. Are you worthy to go again? Will you strike
Tomo
again,
will
Tomo?
say, yeah, Tomo will say, as you wish.
All right. Another contested attack roll. She cuts you a second time for 10 damage.
Wow.
Okay. I think with that, Tomo will kind of like fall to one knee and heavily breathing, look down at the ground, and just say,
You've been granted inspiration by Tech Viking, should you wish to use it. He's saying, kick her ass, Tomo.
Indeed, yes.
oh, shit. Okay, he's going to be down on one knee, heavily breathing, and say, he certainly taught you well. But I think I got a little more in me.
And
Nice.
you counter that last attack using that? Or was this a new attack? Or was
This is a new contested attack roll, I believe.
new contested attack? Very well.
Can I use my patient defense in here at all?
Yes, you can.
Okay, then I will also do a bonus action patient defense.
All right. So that's dodging, correct? So this would be with disadvantage.
Yeah.
So this would be a 10. You cut her instead, dealing 11 damage to her. She smiles. Finally, you stop disgracing our master. Do you have
This is
more?
quite fun. Of course. I'm going to slash again and do a patient defense.
Okay. So, with disadvantage. She misses you. And
So
you
I hit her
will
for
deal
another
12
12.
damage to her. Yes, sir. You wanna do it
Okay,
again?
and yep, now I'm going to do an unarmed strike to get agile parry, bring my AC
Okay.
to 22.
Sure. All right. So she attacks you, and will cut you for
Oh,
7
shit.
damage.
Didn't he have a patient defense?
He still has that
Nope,
inspiration.
used agile parry that time.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Do I
yeah.
still have the inspiration? I thought I used that on the first
Nope,
attack
you
did
have
after
not
that.
used it yet.
No, you did.
You're
You
not
haven't
using it
used
yet.
it
no.
yet.
Oh, okay. Then, since I didn't use my bonus action on patient defense, I'm going to do another unarmed strike.
Okay. Cool. So. going
Does 17
to-
hit, or no?
17 does not hit her AC. So
Okay.
while you use it, you do gain the benefits of agile defense, but you did not harm her, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, going for another contested attack roll here.
Okay. Oh no.
Crit.
You will critically strike her, and you're going to deal 16 damage to her. Here's the fun
Okay,
part.
and I will use.
She has 11 health.
Okay, I'm actually gonna bonus action second wind.
Okay.
You can use my inspiration on this attack if you want.
Like I say, he still has. I don't think he's actually used his inspiration yet.
He
so-
hasn't used it yet. no.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Ooh, that was a good second win too.
It really was, yeah.
You recovered 10 hit points. She is 11. You have 14.
14 now.
You're
Okay,
both
so I'm
within
gonna
one
do-
strike's range now.
Yep, contested attack roll.
All
I'll
right.
use my inspiration on this one for advantage.
Sure.
Ooh,
Oh,
crit, yeah. Well,
And with that, Toma, would you strike lethally?
No, absolutely not.
All
No?
right.
Oh my.
So, As you defeat the woman, she looks up at you and yields. She
Tomo will
looks
wipe the
up.
blood off of his katana, sheath it. As I
You
said,
are worthy.
he taught you well.
He taught you better. My archers will let you pass. You have earned respect this time, Chisana Tomodachi.
I didn't
The
catch your
blade is
name.
yours. I did not give it, but now I will. I am Ikari Jun. I will put that in chat here. First student of Abe.
Is she an elf?
She is. She rises with her head bowed, which is generally, this is the first time you've seen a woman bow a head to any man in Shu.
Jim really seems very puzzled I'm also gonna convert 2 sorcery points into a first level spell, and I'm gonna heal Tomo for 8 damage or 8 life.
Is this your squire?
This is my friend, Jim Rowley.
A student of Abe Aranaka has friends. The world is changing.
Tomo gestures towards all of the archers in the woods. Do you not have friends as well?
I have mercenaries.
Well, Ikari, you needn't bow to me. Please rise.
She rises.
It's an honor to meet another student of Abe.
She rises, her head proud once again. An honor and a privilege, Chisana Tomodachi. Know this, the children of Abe Aranaka are many. This is a privilege to be your first test. You have earned the sword. And she will sheath her sword, pick it up, and hold it forward to you. It's very fancy. It's got a black scabbard, and there's a red line that goes down the side of it. The wrapping is shark skin and is exceedingly fine. She holds it forward and looks at you earnestly in the eyes. The sword is cursed. Would you take it? It is cursed by Abe Aranaka himself.
Well, it doesn't feel right to leave a student of Abe without a weapon.
I have others, but none as made by the master himself.
I accept your gift.
It is no gift. I would not willingly part with it. But you have earned it, and may take it from me, as you have bested me in the challenge.
Tomo will give a little bow and reach for the blade.
She matches just a little bow equal to yours, and you take the blade, and you are cursed for as long as you have this. Here is the blade. If you want me to tell you. If you don't, we can go ahead and hold off.
You can keep the curse seeker for now.
Very well.
we have to challenge people for for the honor to be the first student.
She bows and steps out of the way. You, Chisana Tomodachi, are now the rank 1 of
my.
Abe Aranaka. The others will come for you. Beware and be ready, for not all will be as honorable as I.
I appreciate the warning.
She clicks her heels together and gives you a curt standing nod. She's standing at attention for you.
Alpha just looks uncomfortable at this point and is like, oh, I hope we meet again, Ikari.
I hope we do not. For should we meet again, we would challenge each other once again. Such is the fate of the students of Abe Uranaka. When we meet, we must clash blades. And you have proven to be my better for today. I will train further and hopefully learn the ways of the wind.
It's a shame we don't have him here to teach us.
The old man was a fool. He knew certain things, but raising others to clash against each other was not the way to spread the name of Aranaka throughout the world.
It's not a custom he shared with me. Maybe he was teaching me another way.
Perhaps. Such is the folly of old men. She softens a little bit. There's a little bit of admiration for the guy, in spite of her words. What she's saying is more of the training of Shu as opposed to her actual relationship with the guy.
Yeah, Tomo can be seen to be a little bit apprehensive to, calling the old man a fool and such, but he sees the respect that she has as well and doesn't broach the subject.
The archers in the trees still have their bows drawn, but aren't actually shooting at you guys. And they're kind of pointing downwards at the ground. You are no longer being threatened by the ambush.
Well,
You
Ikari,
pass.
we'll be on our way.
Very well. Should we meet again, Chisana, I will challenge and I will reclaim the blade.
We'll see about that.
For the first time since you saw her, she smiles just a little bit off to the right. There's just the slightest hint of a curl of her lips and a dimple. That's it.
Yeah,
We shall
Tomo
see indeed.
will wink at her and then start making his way past.
Okay.
We follow him.
Reezy's gonna walk by and wave. It was really nice to meet you.
Nice.
Damn.
That was
All right.
very accurate.
And off you guys go, further along the mountain path. Zalfriora comes up to you, Tomo, as you're walking. That was exotic. What was that?
Tomo looks kind of flustered at this point, like he's lost his composure that he was showing back there, and he's just like, I don't know what the fuck that was. He's heavily breathing now, and he's just like, I didn't even know anybody else knew about the old man.
Seems like there's more going on than we know about.
This is the first time I've heard his name uttered since he passed.
How long ago was that?
20 years ago.
You've been wandering for 20 years? How old are you, Tomo?
39.
You're ancient for a bugbear, aren't you?
I don't really have a frame of reference for that.
Well, I know 2-year-old bugbears who are full grown.
It's true I did mature quickly, but I still feel spry for my age.
Well, you are quite agile for 39. Goodness. Um, you may have to teach me some of your ways in the future.
I'd be happy to share.
What is that martial art that you used?
That's the Yokaze way I mentioned. It seems she was trained in it as well. It's unlike the Shuin way.
Indeed. Well, it's getting dark. You think we could find a place to camp?
Yeah, maybe we'll try to find a place this time instead of letting Jim find us a small opening under a rock.
You
She
mean
smiles.
Jim?
Perhaps so. All right. So, who's going to look for the campsite? Because they're looking for someone other than Jim Riley to find the campsite.
I think that's a sly to Jim Early. I think the person who goes to found us the worst space was Breezy in the last session.
It
Or the
was,
session before. It
but
was.
they blamed it on Jim Riley,
Oh wow. Well, I mean, of course, you can't blame the women, right? You have to blame the men.
which is the problem that Jim Riley has at the moment. 100%.
Let's just perpetuate his trauma.
God
Um,
damn.
Lumi will assist whoever
I
is
hope
doing
he's
it.
out there currently working on his smoker.
Indeed, he is.
Okay.
Lumi will assist whoever is searching for a place. So
I'm
she,
gonna recommend
he-
Tomo.
Tomo, okay.
I'll take
So
a look.
Lumi comes to you, Tomo. And says, Tomo, let's look for a. But just before you do, are you okay? Are you still hurt? She's a little bit worried about you, basically.
I feel okay. He definitely got a few good hits in.
But are you still in pain?
Nothing a good night's rest won't save
She
me from.
nods. And she gets a little bit close. Tomo, shall we look? Can I assist you in looking for a place? I don't really fancy sleeping on top of rocks again. My back really. I might be small, but I still get issues.
Don't you have a bed that you sleep in every night?
I I do, but and then she kind of looks
You just
out.
don't want your little lamps, or your little necklace sitting on rocks, do you?
No, I really don't. I. She looks at you. She's like, I worry that somebody's gonna take it away, or I don't know. Perhaps you could take care of it.
I'd be happy to.
And she nods. But let's find a place for everybody first.
Yeah, let's
And
look over here.
she will.
Okay.
She will. The way the Lumi is going to assist. So you have advantage on a roll. So it will be the 16.
So with the 16, you find a very nice camp spot. It's flat, fairly soft earth, beds of pine needles that'll be nice and semi-decomposed. It's going to be a nice, soft ground. There's enough area there for a fire ring to be dug and a few rocks to be set up to prevent a forest fire.
Hmm.
This is on the north side of the road and is fairly sheltered.
Are we still in frog country?
Fog? Yes, you would see
Well, not
some fog.
frog. I mean frog
Frog?
country. Are you frogs in the trees that we should be wary about? Frog
No.
monsters.
You're
No,
thinking
okay.
the Krasis? No, the Krasis are not here.
They are not here. Okay, good.
No, the Krasis were around Belket, and there's
Just
a reason
around
for
Bell.
that. Yeah, there's a reason for
That's
that.
fine.
You guys did not discover why, but there's a reason why they're around Belket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Go on, Merrick.
what would you guys like to do? Is you guys prepare for bed tonight? Who's cooking? Because I need 90 seconds. Give me just a moment, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
Go ahead and set yourselves up for the evening.
Who's cooking? Indeed, we should try the new a new mess kit. Lumi will use the new mess kit that Breezy given her with the what was it? Yeah, it looks very funny in her hands. It's very small, and she's using it. I mean, we only have rations, don't we? We don't really have anything that we can eat proper.
I think so. I think that's correct.
We got rations. What are we talking about?
Yeah, we have lots of ration. We have like 60 rations in storage. Do we need? Lumi will help whoever set up a fire and boil some water for tea and wherever else that we need. She'll collect some wood if is required. Yeah, she's gonna do that. She's gonna go fly around and collect wood. Not a lot. She can't carry a lot of wood on her tiny arms, but she'll pick up like some logs and things and just flying with one log. Just as she's kind of struggling picking it picks up and then flies it and then kind of drops it on the pile that's meant to be the fire. But she hasn't built a fire before or for a while, and she's just literally throwing the wood in the same spot.
When
All
you say
right, all
she's
right.
gathering firewood, does she just
Yes.
grab big logs, or does she cut them, or is she picking up twigs? What's she doing exactly?
She's obviously not entirely blind to the fact that she's much smaller than everybody else and that we need a bigger fire. So she's getting bigger logs that she can carry, but she can only carry one at a time. Like she's kind of holding them with both of her hands as it dangles below her, and she kind of just bobs along in the forest, bringing it over and dropping it on the pile of wood. So she's
Okay.
doing one log at a time.
Sure. Generally, would you be? You said you were going to do something. What would you be doing?
I'm gonna build the fire out of the wood that Lumi's bringing back.
Okay. Cool.
She will
If you're able
continue to do that. And she will continue to bring wood until she's like, tell me when it's enough. And then she just keeps going back to the forest and finding wood to bring back.
Jimroli's gonna he's gonna keep waiting until the stack is like 2 feet tall, and then be like, okay, that's enough, even though that's way too much.
That's a big
like-
ass pile.
It is. It is 2 feet tall.
And then you'll
She's
notice
like,
every time she comes back, she'll notice that Jimroli is giggling a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
Right after they have enough, he's like,
she doesn't mind it, but she's obviously she noticed, I think, but she just kind of makes her like oh really? Like here's the wood, and then the last log she just kind of, instead of putting in the pile, she throws it at his feet, not trying to hit him, just really throws him at his feet. It's like, well, next time you're the one collecting the wood, and I will make the fire.
Oh god,
She stays there with her hands on the like a very Tinkerbell pose with her hands on her waist.
well, I guess that's fair.
Indeed. And she giggles and then flies back to trying to kind of find a place to put her bedroll.
Okay. Meanwhile, Breezy has set up her tent, following the instruction sheet that came with it.
Is that an instruction sheet?
Hers does come with an instruction sheet. Absolutely, Breezy's comes with an instruction sheet, and she follows it in order based off of each number in the list.
She has an IKEA tent.
It's more than an IKEA tent. It literally sits out where to place the poles, where to place the fabric and everything. And like she does it according to the pictures on the instructions so that she gets it exactly right.
I'm it's a shame that Breezy's not here. Would Breezy know that there are mistakes on the printing manual that kind of gets her to build the tent in a wonky way that's never quite right, but because she's like remembers it perfectly like this and she keeps doing it the same way and still wondering why the tent doesn't actually stand on properly?
Oh no, because of the mistakes on the instruction sheet, she believes that the tent is supposed to look like this.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, she got it right. It matches exactly in the pictures.
Yep. Ah, beautiful. How is the weather right now, Eric? Is it is it clear skies or overcast? What does it look like?
It is currently dark. There are some clouds in the sky, but a fog is going to roll in right around
Oh, brilliant.
dusk. So it's going to be misty. You can still see the stars, but the fog sits around 2 feet off the ground. So it's damp and humid.
Oh, yeah, Lumi will. Her bedroll is quite. I mean, it's a Lumi size bedroll. She will try to find a higher place to put the bedroll
Okay.
away from the fog. If she has to find a branch or
Sure.
on top of a tree, she will.
You're going to go put your bedroll in a tree.
She won't spend a lot of time in it. She's hoping to be able to go into her vessel after giving the amulet to Tomo.
Breezy? Oh, to Tomo. Interesting.
To Tomo this time, yes.
Okay. Tomo, she gives you an amulet. Can't hear you. You lit up, but nobody was home.
Yep, I was double muted. Yeah, Tama will just nod to Lumi. Thank you, Lumi. I'll take good care of it.
And she nods, and then I would be gone for a few hours, and when I'm don't don't put it don't put it in a bag or anything, please. Just keep it on your person. Um, I hope I don't disturb you when I come back. And she will then the mist around her. There's always like this kind of fairy dust that's around it that's always there. Kind of starts kind of scintillating different colors, and then that kind of envelops her completely, and she just turns into mist and goes into the vessel.
Okay, cool. I'm going to pan the camera over towards Deuce. What is Deuce doing?
He's just kind of in his he's just in his notebook. But instead of like scribbling, he's kind of more staring blankly at it as he's just kind of going back over the conversation he had with Zal Fiora earlier today. He just has the notebook open kind of like as a front.
Okay. Being thoughtful?
Yeah.
Okay. Quiet and thoughtful. All right. Did he eat dinner with the rest of the party, or did he sit off to the side?
He holds it off to the side while Jesse's in thought. He'll crack a ration that he has and eat that.
Okay. Go ahead and delete a ration off your character sheet. If everyone
Yep.
else ate tonight, please scratch your ration off.
Yep, gotta eat. We're exhausted, actually, technically.
Indeed, yeah, we have one level of exhaustion.
Indeed.
Well, we should do. It doesn't go off with a short rest, does it? It's only long
No,
rest.
No, only long
only
rest.
long rest.
I can't
Alright.
find the.
Can't find rations? That's not
No,
good.
I do have. No, I have them. I just couldn't find. I have so many items in my inventory.
At some point, Tomo would approach Deus,
Okay.
and he has been perceptive enough to see that Deus is often in his notes, and if he is, he'll call out to Deus as he's far enough away to just give him a moment to collect his things. Be like, "Excuse me, Deus."
He'll kind of look up. Obviously not. He's just looking past his notebook, just kind of like 1,000-yard stare. He'll look up. Yeah. Yes. Hello.
I've noticed that you're very keen when it comes to magical things. Could you take a look at this blade for me and tell me what you see?
Of course. And I will. I don't have the pearl to identify. Could I just make an can I make an Arcana check to try to
can.
figure out what this is?
This party asked that we do that, so go ahead and roll an
Yeah.
Arcana check. In order to succeed on this, you will need to hit a 20.
That shouldn't be a problem.
Very well. I'm
Very
going to go
nice.
ahead and show this to you. One moment.
I like the. It shouldn't be a problem, and then rolls a 24. Love it.
For some reason that didn't come up. One more second here. Here we go. Trying to pull it up for you guys.
I wonder if Chronomancer, the way that you kind of get you have knowledge is like you when you run your Arcana check is that you're just remembering what you have learned in the future now
Okay,
before you learned it.
And fortunately, you did not cast Identify, so you did not have to touch it.
Indeed.
Yeah. I was gonna look over this. Someone then, once I realized, she's like, oh, this sword is quite powerful. However, there is a very dangerous curse. It's a sword that is powered through vengeance itself. If you are too attuned to this sword, you are unable to part with it. You must keep it with you at all times. If you are ever damaged, your very wits will be tested. If you are to fall, hold on. I just misread that. Hold on.
Holding?
Yeah, holding. Yeah, okay, sorry. If you are ever hurt in the field of combat, you must hold on to your wits. If you wish, the curse can be broken, but it's only through very powerful magic that it could be dispelled. And I'm just going to display this in
Sure.
VTT.
You gotta hit the button above it.
Oh, my bad.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, it counts as Longsword of Vengeance, Katana of Vengeance.
Okay.
Essentially, if you just fail, you just go psycho and start slicing the shit out of them. You don't stop until you rob.
And you accepted the curse.
Yes, I did.
Wow. Very nice. Nobody hits Tomo, please.
Yeah, watch those frostbolts, Breezy.
Oh. Oh yes.
Oh, man. So, as the sun has set, it is dark at this point. You have light from the campfire. You've all eaten and are settling down for the night. Luminostra has gone into her sanctum. We have Merlot somewhere. What is Merlot doing?
I think I would have
I
just
need to shoot that damn bird.
been laying on my bedroll and kind of laughing, watching Generally cause Lumi to go pick up an excessive amount of firewood, but feeling a bit bad, so using my mage hand to just kind of from below the wood help her with the weight of it.
Okay. Without her seeing?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's why she's able to carry such big logs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understood. Cool. Tomo and Deuce have this session with the sword. Jimmerly made the fire. Awesome.
And then he's crawling after he made the fire. He's crawling into his bedroll near the fire.
Does he go in head first or feet first? I have to ask because of last night.
He's gonna go in feet first.
Okay. Cool.
He's not that short. Yeah.
I have to ask because it got brought up last night whether people go into bedrolls head first or feet first.
I mean, I guess these depends. These zip up on the side. Like, there's not exactly a lot of specifics on the bedroll.
I
We
will
have
allow you
tips
to
in
determine
Toy
how
Horror.
you'd like that. I don't think we're going to do zippers, but I'm cool with fasteners or wraps or ties or however you want to do it. How
Yeah,
would
so
your
his
bedroll be?
it'd be fasteners, and it actually would have a closed bottom, so it wouldn't be able to really go in head first unless he's gonna like turn around. You know what I mean? Inside of it.
Which, with his girth, I think would be difficult, right?
Yes, exactly. So he's gonna go in. No, he's definitely too big for it, but he's going in normal ways. Feet first.
Okay. Does, like, as a question, because you've established that he is a broad individual, does the bedroll give him any slack, or does it kind of form a sleeve around him?
That forms a sleeve.
Okay.
There's
So it's
there's
kind
not
of
a whole lot
bulging?
of yeah. So that's why you can't get in head first as well. There's no way for him to turn around.
Gotcha. So he
Like
wedges himself down in there. That's cool.
yeah, like not like super bad, but like it's not
Right.
that uncomfortable, but it's a little snug.
So he's almost swathed? Question mark.
Almost.
Okay. Cool. The rest of you, does anyone else have a tight fit on their bedrolls? Or is everyone else mostly loose?
I imagine I'm just kind of like sitting on mine meditating since I don't need to sleep.
Okay. So you're just using it as a cushion?
Yeah, like less sitting inside of it and more just kind of sitting on top of it.
Cool. As a question, what position does Merlot sit in as standard when he's meditating? Is he on his knees, on his butt, crisscross applesauce? Is he lotus position? How does he sit?
I guess. Sorry, just one sec. Kind of like a lotus position.
Okay. With the feet up? Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Just curious, we're just exploring. Then I have to ask, because of questions over the past week and because of the Twitch chat asking it now, does Tomo have a tail?
Shit, I forgot if Tomo has a tail.
I don't believe there's one in the art.
Tomo does
Bugbears
not have a
usually
tail.
All right. Cool.
I don't know, to be honest. Tomo doesn't have a tail, but he's a little bit unlike other bugbears. If
Yeah.
they do.
Okay. All right. All good. So, you guys can go ahead and rest. We're not going to hit the long rest button yet, because I do need to go into the sanctum with Luminostra for a moment.
Oh God.
So, Luminostra, as you go into the sanctum, it's nice in here. It's dark when you walk in, though. As you teleport into your sanctum, there are no lights on.
Is that
Would you-
normal?
It is normal.
I mean,
until you turn on a
she
lamp.
she doesn't often turn on lamps because she doesn't need it. Ever since Ever since she made the she received one of the gifts from her patron, she hasn't really found the need to turn on the lamps. But she does when she writes. She likes the glow of the light of the lights as she's writing. And as she enters, she's exhausted. She's really tired. She kind of wipes kind of a little bit of sweat from her brow from carrying logs. And she looks around her sanctum, looking at all of her things, um, and she gives a big sigh of relief, like, "Oh, finally, I can rest." And she kind of drops her backpack on the floor and kind of makes her way to her wardrobe and it kind of just selects some clothes and stuff, and she begins changing. She looks at the tears of her current traveling outfit from the fights that she had, and she's like, "I'm gonna have to mend that later." And she basically changes herself, puts all the damaged clothes that she had on top of her bed, and then she begins cast mending on them, fixing the tears and the kind of scuff marks and everything else on it.
Sure. During
Um,
this process, you will hear a voice from the center of the room. Hello.
She noticing the glow of the orb. She is finishing the cast of her last mending, and she kind of moves. It's like, uh, hello, Jediel. Sorry, it's been a few days. A lot has happened since the last time we spoke.
Jediel's not here right now.
Is this a different voice?
It is.
It's like, huh? It's just like, does the orb looks any different or anything?
The orb does not look any different.
Uh, it- uh, who are you? What are you doing there? Is this the first time that something like this
This is
happened
the
to her?
first time this has ever happened to Luminostra.
She's like, who are you? And what are you doing? What are you doing there?
I'm watching.
She's like, what do you mean watching? And then she kind of, it's just almost what it's when he says watching, she's like, she just changed. So it's like she conflicted the fact that he's watching, or it's this whoever this person is saying that they're watching, but she's also aware that she just changed, and she's like, "What do you mean watching? Are you?"
You can't tell if it's a male voice or female voice.
She's like, "Are you some?" And she kind of looks around. Looks around. So, are you some kind of pervert? And she looks at the orb.
No. But I'm watching you, Luminostra. Jediel is indisposed for the time being. They'll be back eventually. But at the moment, they're busy.
And
I'm supposed to ask you, what have you learned?
I am not sure what I. Who are you? Do you work for him?
They are indisposed, and I'm supposed to ask you, what have you learned?
What is your name first? I'm not one to give Jadal's secrets unwillingly to anyone that I meet.
We haven't met. I've asked you a question. Will you answer?
I will if you answer mine first. What is your name?
Not today, little fairy. Enjoy your rest. Jediel will be back with you soon, if they behave.
If they behave. What is happening
And the
here?
orb goes back. The orb goes blank.
She walks towards the orb and just kind of pokes it, kind of trying to look to see if there's a problem with it. What is happening here? Is there some sort of possession? wondered something happened to him. She will, she's gonna use, I mean, her powers are gifted, so I don't know if they would stop working. But she will use one of her, she will try to, she will use some of the spells that she was being given by her patron.
Okay.
I mean,
Which spell?
let me just, yeah, I'm just gonna try to see which one would be one that she will try. She'll make a minor illusion of of a of one of the sceneries of the she's seen. It's like one of the floating isles of the astral sea, like a small one in her hand. Sify appears.
It appears.
She's like, she releases it, and she said, what is going on?" She looks around her room, tries to find something, and then she kind of grabs one of a sheet from her wardrobe, and then she kind of drapes it on top of the orb. I
Okay.
hope he's and she stops. She's like, I hope he's okay.
As you do
Ooh,
that, you will feel a awkwardness about doing this. You know you're not supposed to do this if Jediel uses the orb. It's disapproved of. But up to you if you like to do it. Because the situation has changed.
it has changed. She's a little bit worried, and she hesitates, knowing that she's not supposed to do that. She kind of goes. She looks at the orb, and she's kind of thinking to. It's like whispering to herself and to the orb, just Jediel, whatever's happening to you, get back to me. And then she kind of drops the cover on top of the orb.
Very well.
Yeah.
Cool. So, you
And
guys
she was,
can
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, nothing else. She will go to sleep.
Awesome. You guys can all go to sleep, and I'm going to roll a d5 because we don't have Breezy here today. 1d5. Going down the list here, we go from left to right across my name bar. We go to Merlot. Merlot. While you are meditating, you're going to receive a vision in your head of sneaking through a quiet hall, wood lined and well furnished. The dark wood, you can smell it. It's got oil. It smells like freshly cut mahogany. It's rich. The floor you're on, hardwood, well polished and well maintained. There's a fern on the right hand side of the hall in a ceramic pot. You feel yourself walking forward cautiously. Looking behind you, you're not being followed, as best as you can tell. You come up to a bend in the hallway. It's going to turn left. You peek around, and instinctually, you know that there's a restroom behind that next door. You don't want to go in there. Obviously, someone's already in there as the door's closed. You can hear them inside, taking care of business. You move on and come to a door, tall and wide. The door is 10 feet wide, double doors. Across both of them, there is an image carved into the wood itself. An image of a knoll. Dark crimson eyes painted in place. They seem to follow you. The irises are punctured so that no matter what angle you look at it from, the eyes are constantly chasing you. The carving is bisected from top to bottom across the seam of the double doors. As you reach forward to open the door, your fingers brush the warm wood, and you feel your hand sink into it. You feel fur as opposed to wood. You feel warmth of a creature. You look up, and the door is replaced by that of an actual gnoll. Your hand on its chest, it snarls down at you. I see you. Child. Child of Imkel. You'll be claimed. You and the girl. Tell the daughter of Mosaba that I will own her soul soon enough. And you look up, and down the hall, you see a group of people running away. And at the tail end of them, a woman dressed in blue with 2 cutlasses in her hands. She looks over her shoulder, not seeing you, but in terror of what lies before you. As they turn around the corner, you wake up in the morning, completely well rested.
I'm gonna look around and see if anybody else is awake, and just kind of see if anybody looks shaken, and whether or not I'm the only one that had a dream like that.
You hear
were the only
Jamroli
one.
snoring.
Okay. Jimmerly is still snoring. But it is now dawn. You guys have made it through the night. Go ahead and hit the long rest button and go ahead and confirm that you've gotten a long rest. It should remove any levels of exhaustion. Or 1 level of exhaustion, I should say.
Very nice.
Cool. You guys wake up to a beautiful morning. The sky is slightly overcast. You can still see the sun through the clouds, but it's just enough to keep the glare off. In the distance, you can see the forest down below the mountains. You couldn't see this late at night because it was dark, but you can see for miles to the south. You're actually fairly high up in the mountains, and it's pretty. I need to shoot that damn bird. As you guys wake up, ready for breakfast, or how would you guys like to start the day? As Jimmerly is snoring.
Yeah, Lumi would have, during the night, she can only stay in the vessel for so long, so she would have left in the middle of the night. Close to the time that I think, Mello, you would have ended your meditation. So you probably would have seen her like leaving, appearing next to Tomo. She kind of, she whispers something to him like, "Thank you." I was like, "Thank you," and then she grabs her amulet, puts it back on herself, and she flies to where she had her bedroll, and that she would have gone into the bedroll and um, went to sleep. But in the morning, she would have woken up at the same time as everybody else.
Okay.
She looks around. Do we still have is the fire is just now braziers, right? The
You mean coals?
coals, yeah, sorry.
Would Merlot have maintained the fire during the night? Merlot?
Sorry, had it muted. Assuming that somebody else was on watch when I first went into my trance,
Sure.
and then I could make sure that it's not going to burn the campsite down. Then yeah, I would have
Sure.
maintained it.
Cool. So there's a little fire going, just enough to, keep it going instead of having to be relit.
Yeah, Lumi will kind of put a pot on top of the fire with some water and start kind of boiling some water to making some tea for herself.
Does she
She
use
looks
water from her water skin, or where does she get the water from?
from her water skin.
How much would you like to
Uh,
use?
Enough for two cups.
2 cups of water? Okay, so just partial. Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
just partial. She's just making it for herself. She's at the moment. She's not really. She have brought some of the rations that is in her. She has a small pack with the rations that Tomo had purchased after we left Nomrak, just enough for everybody to replenish their packs on a side, and she's
Okay.
just making herself some tea. She looks at
Awesome.
you, Mello. Are you awake?
Yeah.
She will kind of. Do you want some?
I'd love a glass or a cup if there's extra.
Well, enough for two. And she throws the leaves of the tea that she has, and then start kind of waiting for it to brew. And once it's ready, she will pour into her cup, and then she looks at you. Do you have a cup?
I do. I pull it out of my bag.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, and she'll pour you some tea.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've established that Merlot has a cup based off of his art.
Indeed, yes. Wow, it does quite a fancy cup you have.
Yeah, thanks. I always keep it with me.
Hmm. But
Then
how was the night, by the way? Has anything happened? I woke up in the middle of the day, middle of the night, just went straight back to sleep again.
yeah, I was gonna ask everybody once they got up if they've ever heard of the name Mosaba. I had a weird dream and I can't remember if it's familiar or not, but it felt like it could be.
I don't think I have. Yeah, I don't think I have. Is it something from? It must be something from these lands. Something you heard before, perhaps in the past.
Maybe it. Have I heard the name before, Eric?
Well, religion check, please.
Oh, religion. Oh, okay.
Yes, please.
God
I'm
damn it!
proficient in religion,
His dream
but
was
I'm
so
not
much better.
sure. Yeah.
Apparently, Merlot did not pay attention for catechisms and in church.
Would Lumi know anything about? I mean,
Let's
he's
roll your
not a
religion check.
native. Yeah, it will be a
With a
13.
13, you would have heard of the ancient blood god named Mosaba.
In what context would I ever heard about them?
The horror stories told to children and to people around. They're generally a monstrous god that evil people worship.
Lumia, she was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Could you say that word again?" And
Mosaba.
oh, okay, I think I heard about that. And she's like, "That is an ancient evil, a terrible god, um, a blood god, I think. Off just worshipped by, well, the crazy and the chaotic. It is. You had a dream about that? Where have you heard that name before?"
That's the only time I've heard of it. I had a dream that I was seeing things and kind of stumbled upon a knoll, and
Oh
they
God.
spoke the name and said that they were coming for me, and then I turned and looked, and they said that they were coming for somebody else as well. As I looked down the hall and saw someone running off.
It's a strange omen. I don't know. I've been having some dreams myself in the past, recent even. Um, they're often just our minds playing tricks on us, but I have heard of entities able to inhabit our dreams, send us messages. Perhaps someone is trying to tell you something. You said a knoll?
Yeah, that I believe so. I I
knows
tried to go through a door and then it just kind of appeared out of nowhere.
knows well, one of the monstrous races. They are ravaginous beasts. They wreck everything they touch.
That's a question. Would Luminostra refer to them as monstrous races while traveling with Tomo?
Um, no, she wouldn't. She wouldn't. I struggle to think of what would be what she would say. Actually, what would you suggest? She wouldn't. To her, humans are, well, I won't call monstrous, but what would be? I don't know. But she wouldn't call it monstrous. She would probably say
Furfolk?
the fur folk. Yeah,
Okay.
demi-human races, maybe, perhaps.
I think demi-human is not something she would use because people
No,
would refer
okay,
to her as demi-human.
true.
So probably
Yeah,
furfolk in
she
this case.
Yeah, she say one of the fur folk races. Um, they tend to be. I mean, it is odd that they do follow Mosaba. I heard of some of them following Mosaba before, but they're searching. What did you say? They were searching for. They were
For
searching for who?
I didn't get a name for the. They said that they were coming for me and somebody else that I didn't get a name. I just kind of saw the back of them as they were running off.
And did he tell you anything about that person?
I I mean, I know what they look like, but they didn't say much.
Okay. Well, there's not much you can do about that. Just be wary, prepare yourself in the future, perhaps. Hopefully, that it is just a dream. She kind of stops, but in case it is not, I would keep an eye on. I, w- I,
Will
w- I,
do.
w- I would not forget about this dream you just had, and I would
It
keep an eye on the people that you meet. Perhaps you may dreams have a habit of sometimes becoming real.
will do. I can't imagine that it's all bad though. I mean, everybody that I've met here, there's others that would say that fae or fairies or even bugbears are monstrous or other bad words, and
Yeah, she
who
she
knows?
she frowns on that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm yet to make my mind of what all of this. This is all too new to me. This place and all these people.
Yeah,
We'll get
he
used to it. I don't know.
he could be a nice null. Same with Mosaba, but we don't know.
And
They
she's
could
like
just be
she looks at you,
misunderstood.
perhaps. However, if I were to, if you, I would be careful with followers or Mosaba. They don't tend to be nice, and I'm
Can I get
putting it lightly. I think.
yeah,
Go
can
on,
I get a
Eric.
history check from Merlot though? Because there's another detail that has been glossed over. Just
Yes.
checking. With a 17 Merlot, the woman dressed in blue with two cutlasses. You remember seeing her picture on a wanted poster.
The fear.
Her
Yeah,
name is Saphira, and she is worth 200,000 gold. Dead or alive. All you need to do is
wow.
find her and return her to Bourbon.
Well, she must be.
Do you tell Lumia about that?
I think I would tell Lumi. I don't know the woman that was coming for us. That the Knoll said he was coming for both of us, but they looked familiar, and I would just leave it at that.
Okay,
Okay,
cool. So will not tell.
that's fine.
Gotcha.
No worries.
Cool. All right, so I'm gonna go and check on the rest of the party. Um, Deuce, did you wake up early this morning, or are you going to be a deep sleeper like Jim Rowley?
I'll probably wake up. Oh, sorry. I'll probably wake up at my like the normal like morning rise ish time. Once everyone else starts to wake up,
Okay.
then I'll just quietly collecting my things over by myself, making sure like none of my notes are missing. I still have that book from the village, the draconic book. I still make sure I still have that. Just have all my
Sure.
things.
Okay. Did you crack that book open last night?
No, not yet, but I do plan on it.
Okay.
Every night I just kind of give it a glance over and just kind of I think it's whatever. Not tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight.
Okay.
But I still have that, and I still make sure I have it every morning.
Okay.
Recent book.
Little bit of a obsession to keep it, but a
Mhm.
hesitation to open it.
Yep.
Is that what I'm sensing?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Breezy's going to stretch. Good morning, everybody. And she is bright and chirpy, bright in the morning, so loud that generally you might hear her when you're sleeping.
Oh God! Wow! I swear, Breezy. Why you gotta do this to me every time?
Because
Blasting
it's
with
going to be
eyes.
a wonderful day.
Jamali gets out of his sleeping bag and goes, it was a wonderful day until you woke me up.
Oh, come on. It's going to be great. So she will get doing calisthenics this morning. She does some jumping jacks and does some windmill stretches. Gets going for the day.
Jamali's gonna walk to the fire and be like, "Did anyone make any coffee?"
Because her player's not here, I get to make Breezy do all sorts of things that her player would not do in the morning.
Indeed. Lumi has made some tea, but it's gone. She's like, do you have any coffee? You could make some.
Oh, I don't think I bought any. Why didn't I buy any coffee?
Would you like some tea instead?
I'm good. Tea is too kind to my soul in the morning. I need something brash and rough to wake me up.
She turns to Merlot. Merlot, do you have anything
I slap
for
him.
him? He slap you. Oh my god. He's like, what?
He kind of shakes his head a little bit and he pops his neck. He's like, I guess that'll work. And goes and starts breaking down his tent.
Hey, Zal.
Cool.
Assuming she's awake.
She is awake.
About how far out do you think we are?
Well, it was 10 days from Namrat, and we've spent 3, so another 7.
Is there anywhere that we're going to hit between here and there? Just wondering if we'd have a chance to grab Jim Early some coffee so I don't have to do this every day.
I don't think there's any towns other than Belket.
Just look at him and say, I'm sorry.
That's my own fault. I should have bought coffee.
Well,
I regret everything.
I don't have coffee, but I do have these, and she will produce good berries.
Well, I guess that's breakfast. Thank you. You'll eat some good berries. Or a good
How,
berry, I guess. You'll eat one.
as a question, would Jim really eat more than one?
Yeah, we need to roll because he doesn't. I don't know. He knows magic, but I don't know how much druidic magic he would know.
Sure. Let's roll a nature check.
Yeah.
Roll a 1d4 of how
With an
many
11,
handful you
you would
get.
understand that good berries are a full day's consumption for calories.
So Jamali will eat one.
Okay. Awesome. Lembas bread. Good enough to feed a
Indeed.
man for a whole day. How many did you eat?
That she
Four.
and she made it for and she made it for everybody.
Right.
Okay.
Cool. So,
Yep.
Tomo is sleeping in. He would have groomed when Breezy groaned, not groomed, groaned when Breezy made her exclamation. He would have pulled his hat over his face and went back to sleep. So, Tomo is sleeping off to the side. 7'10" bugbear. Sleeping in past the time that Jimmerly sleeps in. Apparently, the combat yesterday tuckered him out.
That and the exhaustion for sure.
Indeed.
We
Lumi
probably-
will
We should probably wake Tomo up before we get too far out.
indeed. I'll do that. And she flies over and kind of pokes Tomo in the side. Tomo, it's morning. We're getting ready to leave.
Okay. I'll get it.
I promise we'll shut Breezy up.
Does Breezy takes the tent down?
She
I mean-
takes it apart according to the instructions and gets it all based off of the instructions and how religiously she follows them. Everything fits back inside the tent bag
Amazing.
without cramming.
It is a skill.
Which anyone who's ever gone camping knows that that's an impossibility.
Just
Indeed.
gonna say it's an impossibility.
Indeed, yeah.
It's absolutely impossible to fit that tent thing back in the same bag.
Especially in the morning when the tent's full
Oh,
of
yeah.
dew and it's wet.
Oh no, Breezy's going to take the time to hang it from the tree branch and wipe it down and then get it all rolled up properly. She's going to do the whole 9 yards.
Amazing.
That's who Breezy is. We've established that. None of this is a surprise. She's the book nerd. In addition to Deus. Alright, so you guys ready to head out?
Yep.
Cool.
Yes.
As you guys head out, Zalfriora will tell you tomorrow we're going to be getting higher into the mountains. So I'm hoping that everyone can get used to the terrain today and enjoy the gradual climb. And today you do not risk gaining a level of exhaustion. However, I'm going to ask for a Constitution saving throw, and if you succeed, tomorrow you will have advantage on your Constitution saving throw.
Very nice.
So,
Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw of a DC 10 to get advantage tomorrow.
Very nice.
Merlot
Wait,
will
is
not have advantage. Jimmerly will have advantage. Deuce will have advantage.
Oh, I will use my
Luminostra will-
inspiration.
You're going to use inspiration to gain advantage?
Ah.
Okay.
No, I won't. Oh, God. Do I care? God damn it. Yeah, I will use inspiration. I'll roll it again. That was too low. There we go.
Okay, you will have inspiration for the check tomorrow.
No, I'll have advantage for the check tomorrow. yes.
Advantage, correct.
Okay.
And lastly, Deus, if you are back, I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw to find out if you will have advantage on your con save tomorrow.
Oh, I did. Sorry, did it not go through? I rolled an 18.
No, it
didn't
did.
see it.
He passed.
It did. It's
Oh, you did.
18.
Okay,
He
you
passed.
got an 18, yes. All right, so Tomo, Merlot, Jimmerly, Deus, and Luminostra. I need to pull up Breezy. We're just going to roll a d20 for Breezy because I don't want to pull up her whole sheet. 1d20.
I'll tell you.
She fails.
She does, yes.
After all, she's a city girl or country girl. So as you guys make your way up through the mountains, you guys travel all day, taking a break during lunch. Is there anything you'd like to do today during the climb?
Is there
Rolly will polish his hammer with this hammer polish.
He's going to
can do
polish
that
while
his hammer
climbing?
with hammer polish while climbing.
Oh yeah, he'll stop at the brakes while they're climbing. You know what I mean?
Oh, at the
Like, he'll
brakes.
stop and
Gotcha.
get rest. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Lumi
Cool.
will, if anybody is struggling or anything else, she will attempt to help with she will try to help people climb, pointing which rocks to go. Oh, don't go toward this way. It's a dead end, etc. By using the vantage point that she can fly and go up a little bit. So she will try most of the day helping with that.
As a
I do.
question, okay,
Mhm.
because this does matter.
Yes.
Luminostra,
Hmm.
you're used to flying everywhere for the most part, right?
Indeed, yes.
How well of a climbing guide would you be?
Terrible.
Understood.
She is yeah, she would just she wouldn't be very good at like telling people how to climb. Like she
Understood.
wouldn't try to give too much of like, oh, you shouldn't put your hand here, you should put your hand there. But
You
unless
literally
there's
just say that she did. So,
yeah,
what we're
she
going to
did,
do
yeah,
is because she's
she would
not
do
a
that,
good
yeah.
instructor, we're going to give disadvantage to anyone who
Oh,
follows her
no.
instructions.
Jim really has a climbing kit, and he's just using that to climb up.
Understood.
I mean, it's an actual climb. Like you have to
Yes.
climb with Pitten and oh god.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
bought a climbing kit.
Yep.
Yep.
He's
I will have
he's-
listened to Lumi.
He's
You're
gonna get
going
the
to
person
listen to
flying,
Oh, no.
and being that he's from caves and stuff like that, and has a lot of
Yep.
experience with rocks, he's just
Yes.
like he looks at her. He kind of like he looks at her, looks at Merlot, and just like she's just kind of whistling as he climbs the rock, watching the chaos happen.
All right, so you do not give Merlot instruction?
Nope.
I'm
All right.
sorry, Mello. If you fall to your death and you lose a level, let
Merlot?
it be known there was a moment that somebody could have saved you.
Merlot,
I
can I
mean,
get a
theoretically.
athletics check to climb?
Yeah, that's
Jim really has advantage on his.
let's
his
go.
climbers
I
skill.
had a nat 20 and a 19.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
You will succeed just fine, in spite of her
Nice.
instructions.
And now
You're
you're
a
gonna try
great teacher, Lumi.
But wait a minute. Is it he succeeded? Is it obvious that I was giving him bad advice, or he to him looks like my advice was actually really good because he actually had the easy climb?
No,
You were an
he's actually-
amazing teacher. You were an amazing techer, Lumi.
You
Advantage
gaslighting her.
perception, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Perception
Almost
does
gonna see
not
how-
make fact.
Almost going to see
Double?
how well it went with Merlot, and he's going to
Yes.
try to follow Lumi's advice as well.
Oh no.
No. So with disadvantage, for the record, I love that you guys are embracing this. Tomo, you will still succeed. Probably because you're following Merlot's path.
Yes. Oh, thank
All right.
You guys just
Generally-
see Jim. Jim's just giggling a little bit, watching it all. happen.
Generally, do you have proficiency in Climber's Kit?
Do you need proficiency in it?
You don't need it. It does grant you advantage regardless, but with proficiency, you gain your proficiency on top of your check.
I didn't know there was proficiency for it. So no, I
You
do
can
not have
gain
it.
All right, so with advantage, and as opposed to disadvantage, please roll your athletics check.
Okay.
It's DC 12. Okay. So, yeah, DC
Double
12.
fours.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Of course.
Yeah, he's
Generally,
he's sitting there giggling and not paying attention, and
Yep.
then it comes back to bite him.
you don't fall, but you do skin a knee. That's about it. It's not majorly dangerous here.
He's like, well, maybe I should pay attention to myself here, shouldn't I?
So
Ugh.
we're going to roll a d4 to find out how much
Or-
scraping damage. You suffered 2 points of ouchies.
What's ouchies?
Jimaroli, next time just listen to Lumi. She's a great teacher.
I'm a dwarf. You think I'm gonna listen to a fairy about rocks?
A female fairy.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you should have.
No, I'm just rusty. It's been a while.
Then I have to go
Okay.
over to Deuce. Deuce, do you have a climber's kit?
Nope.
Do you follow Luminostra's instructions?
God, I'm the one who's the most vulnerable to this out of anyone. My scrawny old man ass is about to just eat it on this rock face. But it's worked for everyone else, so I guess I'll give it a shot.
Can
So the
can I at
disadvantage?
least, just before he takes the roll, could I,
Sure.
noticing she would do this for Breezy and Beaufort. She will cast her astral potentiality guidance on them on their
I'm going
attempts.
to say in this case that doesn't make
Yeah.
sense because you've already provided good
doesn't.
instructions to
Oh, she
both
feels great
Merlot
about
and
it.
Tomo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that makes
keep forgetting
sense.
I have guidance too. I can guide
Okay, fine,
myself.
fine. That's fine. She won't do it then. She
Yeah.
won't do it.
Because
Okay.
your instructions succeeded previously, so I'm going to say no. That doesn't make sense that she would do. So
Okay.
I think that's very meta, and I think we're going to pass on that one.
Disadvantage,
Sure.
right?
Disadvantage, please.
I am sorry, viewers. I tried. Oh my god.
0.
He got a 0.
Bistrom, you can't start the climb. The first handhold you grab crumbles in your hand.
Wait a minute.
I think that's better.
I just go to grab it, and I don't even get off the ground, and just, oh.
With the 0, hot damn. Breezy is going to attempt with disadvantage. Breezy goes up just fine, following
It's like
Luminostra's instructions.
Lumi is like next to you. Just I don't understand why that didn't work for you.
So, how are you guys going
Why
to get
did-
Juice up this 40-foot cliff?
Should be. She looks at you, kind of trying to gauge your weight and stuff. Do we have a rope? And she kind of flies towards the top of the to the top and say, "Juice might need some help. I think."
Wait, how tall is this?
40 foot.
Oh, 40 feet. Okay.
I
Really
have
takes one of
rope.
his. He takes one of his pittons in his maul, and ties the rope around the pitton, and then stakes it into the ground. And drops it down for Deuce. All right, here's a rope.
Thank you. And I will start to climb.
All right.
Lumi
So-
won't be. She will just be at the top watching him climb, but she won't give
Are
him.
you climbing with the rope and Luminostra's instructions, or are you disregarding her instructions now?
I'm gonna disregard her instructions at this point. I'm just gonna put
Yeah,
her
yeah,
in the
yeah.
rope.
So the rope grants you advantage on your check, so please roll another athletics check. Unfortunately, you're not good at climbing ropes.
Jim Roy's gonna climb down the rope, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna cast guidance on Deuce and be like, "You've got this. I believe in you."
So you're climbing down the rope after having gone up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get your athletics check?
Yes.
I'm in tears right now.
This is going to be... Okay. You easily climb down the rope. You've done this path
Oh.
once. You get
Yeah,
down to the
and
bottom. You cast guidance
giving moral-
on...
yes. Moral support. That's my guidance.
Alright.
It's basically moral support.
That's amazing.
So
Very well.
All right. One last time for all the marbles. Advantage
With guidance
plus
and
a D4.
advantage. Yes, sir.
And guidance.
There we
And
go.
all this help, Deus will finally climb the rope. All right.
Dance will
Jimmerly.
get top.
let me roll.
Absolutely
Come back
winded.
up.
Yep. Jimmerly's got to roll to go back up. With
That's
his climber's
acrobatics.
kit. You're fine. Okay.
13.
Awesome. So everyone gets to the top again. I did not roll for Zalfriora, which I should. I'll pull her up. I think she's actually going to be fine, though. She does have a climber's kit.
It would be funny if she rolls like
Oh, it would absolutely be
double
funny.
ones.
So. She's going to have problems as well.
Thank God I'm not the only one. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I will snip that one as well, just so I'm right there with you. So she will ask for help from Jim or Lee as well. while you
Jimmy
guys
will
are
come.
down there.
Yeah, he'll give her guidance. He'll say they did that before he went back up.
That makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
So she will make it up as well. And you guys continue down the path. Awesome.
Rock climbing brings me back to childhood.
I think that was harder than some of the combats we've had.
I mean-
Just try hanging upside down from a cave top. Ooh, that'll get the blood flowing.
All right. So as you guys continue down the path, you guys can spend the rest of the day hiking uneventfully through the day. This will be day 4 since Belket. And
Mm-hmm.
is there anything you guys would like to do before hitting camp tonight?
I don't think so. Just gonna enjoy the scenery.
Not before camp, no.
All right. When you guys do set up camp tonight, I'm going to ask us to end there because we've done an entire day and a half without Breezy. And I'd like to have Breezy here for this next camp, if that's cool with you guys.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and end it there. I know we did a lot of lore reveals today. I know that some of them were just seeds, but we did cover a lot of stuff today, and I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the content.
Oh yeah.
But we will come back next week for the next episode of Beneath Fallen Skies.